Hi, I'm Ruth Smith and welcome to my channel, It Is Well. I'm hanging out here in my bedroom while the kids are having lunch, and I wanted to talk with you just a little bit about the health journey I've been on over the last year. Last summer in 2020, I had some chronic ear infections in my right ear, and after going to my regular doctor, she prescribed antibiotics and ear drops and the normal course of action, and nothing was really working. My ear just kept aching, had deep pains inside my ear, so she sent me to an ENT. And for the next several months, I saw two separate ENT doctors, ear, nose, and throat doctors, and they did all sorts of things. I think I went through 5 or 6 rounds of antibiotics. I was on steroids. I had multiple different kinds of ear drops. One of the doctors actually put a small hole in my eardrum to try to relieve some of the pressure and the fluid. I ended up having like x-rays, CAT scans, MRIs. They couldn't really figure out what was going on, and I was getting really, really discouraged. It kind of went from a bad earache to the pain was just deep inside my ear and it was unbearable some days. And then the pain would shoot up into my head, kind of like a severe migraine. And it would go down into my throat. Felt like I had strep throat sometimes. And then I started having these really weird symptoms. Like I went from running and walking 2 miles a day most of the time with my kids to all of a sudden I couldn't carry a laundry basket up the stairs without huffing and puffing. I was really short of breath. So finally, by the grace of God, one of the ENTs was talking to me one day, and he said, the steroids are the only thing that seem to be giving you any type of relief. When I would be on steroids, and I was on many rounds of those as well, the pain would subside. I actually called a doctor one time who was on call over a weekend, and I was just crying on the phone and begging him, please give me some steroids, because it's the only thing that really relieved the pain and made me feel like I could function. Otherwise, I was just kind of lying on the couch or lying in bed. So he started to put, I think, the pieces together, and he was like, maybe there's really something deeper going on. Maybe you're battling some kind of anti-inflammatory issue. It's not really chronic ear infections, or maybe there's something underlying the ear pain. So he sent me for a big blood panel. They drew my blood and did all kinds of testing on it. And I got a call a few days later, and he told me that I had a disease that is very long to pronounce, but most of the doctors just call it GPA for short, and it's an autoimmune disease. And basically the blood vessels in my body were being attacked by my immune system, and they were inflamed, and it was all up in my head. And so it was good to have a diagnosis and to know what was wrong with me after many months with no answers. So I started doing some research because I didn't even know what an autoimmune disease was at the time. I mean, you hear about it all the time. A lot of people have autoimmune diseases. There's like 264 different types of autoimmune diseases out there, if my memory serves me right. And mine is very rare. And up until several years back, it was pretty much a deadly disease, but they've come a long way with treatments. So it was a lot of information all at once. I was pretty overwhelmed. I was sitting in my bed one night trying to put together a grocery list for my family, actually, and was in a lot of pain. And I was just asking the Lord to give me some direction, to give me some comfort. I was really down that night. And as I was flipping through some recipes online on my phone, actually, I came across a smoothie recipe, and I started reading what the woman had written about these smoothies and how she had an autoimmune disease that had plagued her for a long time. And she had begun to change her diet, and it had really helped. And as I was reading through this article, I just felt the Holy Spirit say to me, this is the way, walk in it. And I broke down crying because it was so encouraging to actually hear something, feel like I was hearing from the Lord. And it was a confirmation, which God is so gracious to give us, that he was there, that he saw what I was going through, and that he, as my good shepherd, had a way that he was going to lead me through this trial. So the next day I just started Googling anti-inflammatory diet, anti-inflammatory foods, and I decided to try to change my diet and see if it would help. So I'm still learning, I'm still growing. I'm not an expert on this at all, but I did start cutting all sugar out immediately, all processed foods, a lot of dairy and a lot of gluten, and I started including into my diet all the things that were high on the anti-inflammatory food list, things like greens, things like berries, things like fish. I ate a lot of chicken, a lot of fruits, vegetables. I eventually began to incorporate some grains back into my diet after about a month, which included like steel-cut oats and quinoa. And I'm just learning what my body what my body likes and what my body doesn't. But I tell you, after eating that way for just about a week, I started noticing changes. All behind my ear, it was all puffy and swollen and tender to the touch. And of course I had the pain, the constant pain. It all just completely went away. And I wasn't even on steroids at that time. So the pain just disappeared. And I have not battled that pain in the months since I have been eating this way. I'm not perfect at it. I do cheat every once in a while. Birthdays, Christmas, maybe make a pan of brownies for my family. I might have a little one. I went out to dinner with my husband and had some ice cream a couple weeks back. But I would say like 90% of what I eat is very clean eating. And I've also incorporated things into my diet like more ginger, more turmeric. I take turmeric capsules and also put some turmeric in the smoothies that I make during the day. Taking lots of extra vitamins and minerals that my doctor has prescribed. I am on a treatment plan for the GPA, which includes steroids and a chemo pill. And I plan to stay on that because I don't want to be foolish, but I'm also really thinking this diet has really helped me. I know it's helped my pain level, and I can't wait to see as I continue to do labs. I'm hoping the inflammation markers just continue to drop and go down. So I want to encourage anyone out there who has an autoimmune disease to look into anti-inflammatory eating. I did join a Facebook group at the beginning of all this, hoping that I might find some support or maybe find some people who are on a similar journey and had some tips to share. And it was really discouraging because out of all the hundreds of members on this group, most of it was just people desperately reaching out for any type of hope. A lot of them just had severe symptoms that was crippling them. They weren't able to function in their daily life. A lot of them, the medications they were on, which some of them are the medications I'm on myself, had terrible side effects that they were going through. And as I scrolled through the posts, I didn't see anyone talk about diet or nutrition at all. It was just like it wasn't even there. And I know there's people out there who have autoimmune diseases, and GPA in particular, who have changed their diet and had success, but I don't think it's like the first thing people go to, and it's definitely not something most doctors promote or educate in. So that was really sad to me. It was sad that I had seen such a difference in my health when I changed my eating, and that information doesn't seem to be readily available out there to a lot of people. So what I want to do is just share with you over the next couple of months some of the recipes too that I've been incorporating into my diet. I do still eat separate from my family at times, like maybe for lunch I'll just make up a smoothie, or sometimes I'll have a salad for dinner when my family has spaghetti or something like that. But there's also things I've been doing to change some of the recipes that we normally eat. Like we do a chicken coconut curry over rice that everyone in my family loves. And instead of eating that over rice, I just eat the chicken coconut curry plain, or I'll eat it over a bit of quinoa. So there's some meals that I can adjust a little bit that are suitable for me. And like I said, I do cheat once in a while too. But I want to share with you some of the things that I've been doing, some of the recipes that I've come to love, that I've incorporated into my daily life. And one of those, one of my favorites, is this pancake recipe I'm going to share with you. I love bread. I love everything with gluten in it. And that's one thing I've been trying to cut way back on, or eliminate completely some weeks, especially if I'm feeling tired or a bit sluggish. But this recipe does not have any flour in it. I use oats and I grind them up to make flour. And you can also buy gluten-free oats if you want to be really particular about this. It's a really healthy recipe. It tastes like a wonderful, moist, fluffy pancake, so it kind of satisfies that craving. And I can just eat a pancake with a little bit of butter on it, or put some 100% maple syrup, just drizzle a little bit on it. And it kind of satisfies my desire for a baked good and for something bread-like, that we all just get those cravings sometime. And it's really healthy, and everyone in my family loves it, and it's super quick and easy to whip up. So I'm going to share with you that recipe and how quick and easy it is, and I hope you and your family will enjoy it. I'll see you next time. Okay, welcome back. I'm going to show you how I make my banana oatmeal healthy pancakes. I'm going to show you the ingredients first. Okay, so I have taken my oats, 1.5 cup of oats, and put it in my blender. And as you can see, it's a flour-like consistency. And next, I'm just going to add these ingredients to it. It's 1/2 cup of unsweetened almond milk. You can use regular milk if you'd like. I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of honey. This is raw creamed honey, but you could also use maple syrup or regular honey. I'm going to add 1 banana. I'm going to add 3 eggs. 2 teaspoons of baking powder, about 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, Did I mention my banana? And then also cinnamon is optional, half teaspoon to a teaspoon of cinnamon. You're going to put it all in the blender and you're just going to blend it until it is a pancake consistency. Okay, so now that I've got my batter all whipped up, you can see it looks like pancake batter. I just do like a normal pancake. I have my saucer here. I lightly spray it with some cooking spray. I like to use about 1/4 cup of the batter per pancake. Kind of cook it over medium to medium-low heat. And it takes maybe 2 or 3 minutes on the first side. Flip them over for about a minute and you'll see the delicious results.